地球が木星から来たトカゲと戦争するようになって1年。あんまり連合軍が不甲斐ないんで、とうとう民間のネルガル重工が新しい戦艦作ってデビューさせたのがこれまでのお話。でもね。
There's a saying in the film industry that goes something like, when writing, it is better to show the audience rather than to tell them what's going on. Modern phenomena such as Boogiepop Phantom exemplify this notion to the highest extent. Directed by Shingo Natsume, whose previous credits include being on the second key animation staff of the 167th episode of Naruto Shippuden, and assistant animation director on the cult classic 28th movie in the Doraemon cinematic series, Boogiepop Phantom's 2019 adaptation is a cinematic tour de force which pulls no punches in regard to its dizzying and artistic presentation. Originally, I wasn't sure what to expect coming into my viewing of Boogiepop Phantom. I had never read or done any research about the original manga that it was adapted from, considering that it's at least more than 5 or 6 years old, and there was another weird version of it that looked all grainy and like it was from back in the 80s or something on Kiss Anime as well that I wasn't really sure was the right version, and probably was just a bootleg copy that they uploaded of the same name. After a few Google searches and consulting a few friends in addition to Reddit, I found a site whereon I could watch the show completely and entirely legally, because if you're not watching anime that way, you're not supporting the industry and you should honestly just walk directly into the fires of hell. Normally, shows like Boogiepop aren't my thing. I don't really like shows that take a long time to get to the point of their message, and it was a really confusing show at first. I almost dropped it after the first episode, but since artistic integrity is important to me, I decided to give the show a fair shot and give it the 3-episode test. If you're not sure what the 3-episode test is, it originally originates from the idea that generally, usually one episode isn't enough to tell whether or not you like the anime or not. Some anime, like Violet Evergarden from this season, take a while to get good, and they're slow in the beginning because they're building up tension and setting the foundation of the story in place. Also, Violet Evergarden just looks really pretty anyway, so I'm not really sure why anyone wouldn't want to watch it. It's by Kyoto Animation, who, in case you didn't know, also did a bunch of really cool stuff like Myriad Colors Phantom World and K-On!, but I didn't really like K-On! All that much since it's just a cute girls show and I prefer shows with a little bit more depth to them. Boogiepop's first episode starts in a dark cityscape as we see our main character slumped up against the wall. There's not a lot of dialogue here, so the mood is really set by the fact that there's nobody talking. A lot of the time, anime will have people talking at the beginning of the show in order to really hook the audience's attention. Boogiepop strays away from this as it attempts to lure you in with its cool visuals and interesting choice of style. Finally, we meet a couple friends who further add to the intrigue by saying that the main character isn't allowed to date someone, even though he's very clearly waiting for his date to arrive. It's here that Boogiepop shows off its fantastic grasp of narrative motion and integral dialogue flow. Not much has been said on screen, but what has been said speaks volumes about what the characters are saying. The characters are saying one thing, but in reality they're actually referring to something different and foreshadowing what's to come. This plays back into the whole show don't tell idea that I mentioned at the beginning of the episode. Boogiepop doesn't hold your hand like other anime, it makes you actually think about what's going on screen. After this scene switches tone and becomes suspenseful as a white-haired man who looks really sick appears out of nowhere, Boogiepop swoops in to catch him as he falls and delivers a really deep message to the audience and the crowd standing and watching the scene simultaneously. Boogiepop asks the audience if they feel anything or if they're worried about the person in their midst. Frankly, in today's political climate where everyone is divided and nobody cares about listening to each other and the only thing that people care about is shoving their narratives or problems onto other people like it's somehow their problem, this is a refreshing breath of fresh air. Boogiepop wants people to unite together, to ignore their differences, and to help each other out regardless of whether they voted for Trump or not. After this, we shift to the school where it's revealed that the main character's girlfriend, who supposedly looks a lot like Boogiepop, was sick the day before and missed the date because of that. This is an important detail because some viewers might miss it if you're not used to watching deep anime like this. But the most important part of the first episode shows that the really strong narrative affluence of Boogiepop's script comes when the main character meets Boogiepop on the roof of the school. Here, the main character asks Boogiepop things about herself, and we start to learn more about the character herself. This is where the important part is. The philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre said that words are loaded pistols, and that being is. Being is in itself. Being is what it is. What he means by this is that what Boogiepop is saying is that she's not just one person, but that she's a whole people together and not just herself. She takes on the form of different people, either by possessing them or, as it's revealed later in the show, allowing them to act as her. This is a massive commentary on society as a whole that you don't see in most anime nowadays. Instead of just saying that Boogiepop is herself, Boogiepop asks the viewers to ask whether or not they're themselves too, and if Boogiepop is actually herself in the end. In the end, this is something that the audience has to come away with and think about if they're actually going to understand the show that they just watched. All of this put together is why Boogiepop is the best anime of 2019, and that you really should go watch it as soon as possible, especially if you like deep and psychological anime like Tokyo Ghoul or Madoka Magica. There's a lot of philosophical themes and psychological ideas that it asks the audience to understand, and if you're able to understand them, then your understanding of society just gets even better. Deep anime are so much better than the shows that just take a bunch of cute girls and have them at school or whatever, which is what all modern anime basically is now anyway. I wish that things would go back to the way they were whenever Attack on Titan and Sword Art Online were coming out and anime was actually good. For now though, those of us with more refined tastes will have to survive on shows like Boogiepop and Boku no Hero Academia in order to watch good anime, because Boku no Hero Academia is really the only good anime to come out of the last 2 years that has anything redeeming about it. No show even comes close to the animation quality of it, and the fight scenes are cool and awesome. There's also a bunch of layers to the dialogue in Todoroki and Midoriya's dialogue that people just don't understand, and it really annoys me because the two of them are honestly perfect for each other, and the fact that Todoroki used to bully Midoriya is just some bullshit that aunties bring up to discourage people from liking what they like, enjoying what they